You've been buffeted by tough controversies in both of those jobs. When you were the DA in San Francisco, there was a lab tech who was systematically messing with evidence.
Oh, yes.
And hundreds of convictions, hundreds of cases were dismissed because of that.
That's right.
When the judge in that lab tech case ruled on what happened, the judge said that prosecutors at the highest level of the DA's office, your office, had to know that there were serious problems at the crime lab, that lab tech was messing with evidence, and that anything she touched essentially was screwing up cases. How did that happen under your leadership without you knowing about it?
So the crime lab was run by the San Francisco Police Department, not by my office. It was run by the police department. There was a technician, to your point, who worked in that crime lab who was basically sniffing what she should have been measuring. And it turned out that hundreds of cases she had handled, and because of her misconduct, I was going to say her taint, but because of what we knew that she did, which was manipulate evidence, you're right. We dismissed those cases. It was the right, hundreds of them, because it was the right thing to do. When somebody abuses their power, especially in law enforcement, there's going to have to be a consequence.
But did prosecutors working under you know about the concerns about that lab?
The prosecutors
which is what the judge alleged.
Did not know about it, at least said they did not know about it. But the result and the consequence is that cases that prosecutors had worked on were dismissed. Rightly, and it was my responsibility to say those cases will be dismissed because there has been an abuse in the system. And that gets to a wider point. Where we see abuses in the criminal justice system, and in particular by law enforcement, we've got to make sure there's a system in place in this country for consequence and accountability. And at the very least, it's going to have to be about getting rid of those cases, but also reforming the system. And that's what we did after that, in terms of making sure that there were steps in place so that at least as the cases came into the DA's office, that we would make sure that there was no taint or no manipulation before it came in.